You know what I'm feeling right now? I'm feeling my spidey sense start to tingle when it comes to material that we can make videos about on this YouTube channel. Now, I know for the Montreal Canadiens fans that have been here for a while, there was a really successful formula that we kind of went along with when it came to making videos over the past few years. We would talk about Montreal Canadiens' then prospect Cole Caulfield literally every single week. Because every time this guy had himself a game, there would happen to be a goal or two scored by him, and as a result, he was really gosh darn dominant in the National Collegiate System for the Wisconsin Badgers. And as a result, it made it so easy for us to make videos about this guy, and y'all just ate it up. I ate it up too. Don't worry, I actually enjoyed talking about Caulfield because getting hyped for 5-7 goal scorers who are phenomenal in the NCAA, goal-per-game players, as they say, that in and of itself was very fun. But Caulfield is no longer a prospect, and he's no longer in the NCAA. So, when it comes to who is remaining in this league, who also happens to be a Montreal Canadiens prospect, I feel like we've just found ourselves our new guy that we're going to have to make videos about over and over again till the other fan bases that pay attention to this channel get absolutely sick of it. Let's go over to the 2022 NHL Entry Draft and talk about a guy that was definitely drafted way too late. Lane Hutson, taken 62nd overall by the Montreal Canadiens in the second round, who is currently playing for the Boston University Terriers in the collegiate system as well. Now, we said that he went 62nd, but if you take a look at the projected rankings, he was ranked to go as high as number 31 by Future Considerations and Craig Button. McKenzie had him at 40, McKean's at 40, Elite Prospects had him at 47, so the fact that he went so much later is kind of a big deal. Also, once again, shout out to the folks over on Elite Prospects because my video, The Why I Want, is actually listed on the video's profile. That really does help me get rid of the imposter syndrome that happens whenever I talk about prospects, so thank you again, EP crew. But today we're talking about Hutson and everything he has done so far in the National Collegiate System with the Terriers, because when it comes to just the raw, hard numbers, there was always a really good profile behind this name over here. Going back over to last season's worth of play for the NTDP, not only did Lane Hutson go out there and literally put up the best defenseman season production-wise the league has ever seen, but he did so while only being 5'8". Yeah, the 5'8", 148 pounds. That's kind of why he slipped in the draft if you hadn't caught on already. But he had more points than Adam Fox and Quinn Hughes in their NTDP seasons. He had higher points per game than Cam York, who is the all-time single-season defenseman scoring leader in the NTDP's history. So he had a better season than all these guys, pretty much. And so far in the NCAA, Lane Hutson, in the 12 games that he has 14 points, 6 goals, and 8 assists as a freshman who happens to also be 5'8", playing on the second pairing for a team that is no joke. And with yesterday's game for the BU Terriers against Notre Dame, you had yourselves 2 very good goals scored by Lane Hutson that showcased a lot of the skills that he puts on display every single night, it seems like. The first goal scored was one where he starts the breakout himself. He leads the play into the middle of the ice. He fakes, he passes it off, and then he goes to the front of the net as the pass comes right back to him, and he's the guy driving to the goal to bury it home. The second goal he scored was one where he's driving the play down the wing in the offensive zone. He centers it, and then the guy who takes the pass throws it on goal. It deflects off to the side, and Hutson is skating behind the net at this point. He takes the puck, wraps it around, and he buries it to go. Let's go over some analysis made by Hattie K. I really appreciate Hattie. There's such a good follow on Twitter when talking about prospects news and just overall things you need to learn about when it comes to scouting in general. And this Twitter thread kind of just goes out there and explains what Hutson is doing in comparison to NCAA players in the past. Hutson scored again, and he's now tied Adam Fox for the NCAA Draft +1 defenseman goal scoring record. 14 points in under 12 games. E-Collectibles then replies saying, "Hey, can you define the Fox record that he broke? I just want to make sure I have it right." Hattie replies a second time, Adam Fox had 6 goals in his Draft Plus 1 season in the NCAA. Lane Hutson just matched his Draft Plus 1 goal-scoring tally in 12 games. To clarify, the goal-scoring record for similar-age defensemen in the NCAA is 17. Luke Hughes, Hutson just matched Fox's goal-scoring record. However, if Hutson keeps this up and plays as many games as Hughes, he would have scored 20 by the end of the season. The reason this is the way it is because Luke Hughes was drafted out of the NCAA. Lane Hutson was drafted from the NTDP and he made the NCAA afterwards, making the NCAA season he's having right now his Draft Plus 1. Luke Hughes played in college before getting drafted. But still, that doesn't devalue the incredible showcase that Hutson has put on so far. And in fact, Hattie went out there and had this Twitter thread that I wanted to read for you as well. I'm not going to say this lightly. I haven't been this mesmerized with an NCAA defenseman's offensive skill since Cale Makar was at UMass. Hutson is nothing short of a genius. I'm not saying Hutson is the next generational defenseman. Makar's skating and defending have always been projectable. Hudson's aren't there yet. But in terms of vision, awareness, skill, and execution, man. You know what's even crazier? Hutson is doing all this from the second wave on the power play. 10 points in 10 games at the time as a 5'9" freshman, and he isn't even the main quarterback power play guy for BU. And honestly, it's really difficult to try to just project where the season is going to go because the sky really does seem to be the limit here. If we go over to NCAA defensemen in the past, guys who are under the age of 19, and we sort by points in the last 20 years, you'll see that Lane Hutson's points per game, at least. Actually, no, we shouldn't have done points. Yeah, no. What am I talking about? They played full seasons. Lane Hutson has not done that yet. But from 2000 up until today, the only guys that are in the same territory of U19 defenseman points as Lane Hutson are nobody. Adam Fox, Werenski, Seamus Casey, Weirkoch, Luke Hughes, all of these guys produced fewer points per game than Lane Hutson has, and I mean, if you take off the filter, let's remove the past 20 years and just say all time in the NCAA and see what happens, because Lane Hutson's 18-year-old defenseman year is, okay, it's on pace to being the best season since Brian Leach in the 80s, which was a very good player. He's the last defenseman to score 100 points in a year in the NHL, after all. So, I don't know. I'm not going to go out there and say that Lane Hutson has a 100-point potential base in the NHL, but at the same time, I mean, everything he has shown off so far, especially in a limited role, it's kind of nuts. And this is definitely not the kind of player that was supposed to be able to go out there and do this well in the first place when you consider just everything that he had going against him. When was the last time you saw a 5'8", 5'9" defenseman scoring as many points as Lane Hutson is doing right now? At any level of hockey, after all. This is an absolutely crazy story, and as the year goes on, we're going to have to make more videos talking about Hutson and the points that he's able to get, because right now, I mean, the guy has such an offensive skill set that he is putting to use by pump faking, by deceiving opposition, by opening up lanes with his skating and his body language. He is so deceptive, and he's so smart with the puck too. Not to mention the fact that his puck skills, his passing, his IQ, it's all there as well. This is a player that even though his mobility is not the best, even though his physicality definitely isn't there because he's only 5'9", there are so many projectable qualities in the way that he reads offense that it becomes more and more exciting every time you see a new Hutson highlight that I feel like we got to start making videos about this. What do you think? Talk in the comments your thoughts about starting up the new Cole Caulfield-like series with Lane Hutson. I feel like part of the charm that Cole had was because he was so small, which made so many other people want to cheer for this guy. Hutson, I feel, might be in the same territory. But, I don't know, that's just kind of me thinking to myself what makes for good video topics, so you can let me know in the comments all your thoughts and opinions about Lane Hutson, his prospect profile, everything you feel needs to be said about this guy so far into the season. Do you think he's going to keep on producing more than Adam Fox and Quinn Hughes and all these guys? Because if he does, I mean, he's going to be pretty good in the history books, shouldn't he? Talk in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj 99, and bye.